What's happening, Hot Wheelers? Joe Motor back again. This time we're going to look at an Auto World release. This just came out in the fall 2014 release of Auto World called Release 3, I believe. And this is part of the licensed line, which is the most expensive or most premium line of Auto World 164 diecast you can get. They do have two other lines. They have the basic line, which was just plastic wheels, plastic base, and some nice castings, but it just came on a basic card, and they were probably $2 or $3. But I've heard, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to be doing that line anymore. The basic line of Auto World has been discontinued, probably because most people who are interested in Auto World are interested in a collector market, a more premium or more detailed cars, and so the basic line or the cheaper cars are really kind of taken up by Hot Wheels and Matchbox. So I think Auto World realized it probably wasn't going to sell as many in the basic line. The second step up is the detailed line. This is a little more premium. Does have metal base, rubber tires, and also comes with this little box right here. And these probably my favorite from Auto World, just because I enjoy the collector box, I enjoy the card art, and they're a little more affordable. They're around $5 or $6 depending on where you pick them up. This is the '69 Chevy Kingswood Estate. This was released earlier this year, I believe. They're coming out in Release 3 with 2 more color variations of this, so there'll be 4 total. So if you're into this wagon, keep an eye out for those. But this line will continue, and I think a lot of people who were collecting Auto World were very interested in this particular the detailed line. So that's the one step up. And then the most premium is the licensed line. And the licensed line usually just means that they are partnering with a magazine or a manufacturer like Mopar, or they may do a Hollywood release like the Christine, which we saw I think earlier this year as well. So they're having to license a particular brand or a particular magazine, and they're working with another entity as opposed to just releasing a model car. So that's what the licensed part of it means. But it also comes in a big, thick clamshell case with an acrylic display case inside. So this is even more packaging and more kind of stuff to get through if you like to open your cars, which I certainly do. And this here is the 1973 Plymouth Roadrunner. This is from Release 3. And they usually come out in 2 batches, so there'll be another color variation of this Roadrunner, but this one has got to be one of the best color variations and casting choices I've seen from Auto World, hands down. This is amazing. So this little beast right here is going to get cracked open, but we'll do that just in a second. I thought I would show you the packaging just so you know what you're looking for if you're interested. This comes from the Hemmings Muscle Machines, which looks like a magazine. Hemmings Motor News was a very popular automotive magazine. And Auto World prides itself on accurately 1/64 scale. And here's the other cars in the series if you're looking for that. So if you're interested in that sort of line of castings, Auto World certainly is doing a good job. And from what I understand, their tires are a little bit thicker, so we're going to check that out when we open this thing up. But there's your little crash course in Auto World in case you haven't checked any of these out. They usually show up in Walmarts and some of the hobby stores depending on where you're located. But I usually buy mine online because I am impatient. Alright, so let's crack this thing open and take a closer look at the '73 Plymouth Roadrunner from Auto World. Alrighty, we've got this thing cracked open from its main clamshell here, and then what you've got is an acrylic display case, which is a nice presentation, you know, if you like to display your cars this way. If you don't, then it's kind of excessive packaging, and you just take this top off here, and then there's an extra piece of plastic that's holding the car in place. And you know, if you're displaying your cars just in the display case, you're probably going to take this off and just set it down on the platform there, and then put this back over it so it looks nice and clean. However, if you move it around, the car moves around too. So, you know, if you're familiar with the M2 machines, the M2 die-cast releases, they actually screw in from the bottom so that you don't have an extra piece of plastic that obscures, looking at the car. So I don't know which system is better. You can tell me what you think if you display your cars in the plexiglass display case here. But I prefer just to put them in my own display case. So we're going to get this thing out. Now just look at this car. It is so beautiful. 73 Plymouth Roadrunner. Just give you a once around real quick so you can kind of see it all the way around. And then we'll look at her up close. But I just love the color choice here and the overall appearance of this car, which you don't see this casting very often at all. So let me get this off the platform, set her down right here, and that way you can kind of see it up close. So lots of really nice details on this car. Of course, the rear lights here. The tires are Goodyear. There's still something about Auto World tires that bother me, and I can't quite figure out what it is yet. The thickness is probably accurate. The tread is nice, but there's still something a little dinky about them that I can't quite put my finger on. You can let me know in the comments what you think, but they do look nice. I'm not saying they don't look nice. There's just something about them that still kind of bothers me a little bit. But look at these beautiful color tampos here. I love how the racing stripe separates into those kind of dots on the top and then connects down here with the contour of the window. You can see the little Roadrunner just barely right there. Roadrunner tampo. Then you have the door handle and keyhole. The interior is beautiful. You can kind of see the texture on the seats. It's all black, so it doesn't take away from the rest of the car. But there is quite a bit of detail on the interior. And that racing stripe continues all the way down to the front side markers there. And then the front of this car is gorgeous. Beautiful painted headlights, grille texture. Got the Muscle Machines license plate on the front there. Beautiful looking Roadrunner. You just don't see this casting very often. And that hood is just wicked. The tampos and the shape and contours of the hood are just gorgeous. You also have an emblem here on the front. I do believe that's Plymouth Roadrunner. Just barely visible there on the front of the car. And then move it to the other side, basically the same. Let's get some details so you can check it out. So I just love this this incarnation of this piece. Here's the rear, so you can see the separated headlights. I love the separation into three of the tail lights here. Then you have the Plymouth insignia right across the base of the trunk, underneath the trunk, and then you have the keyhole for the trunk indicated there. Another I think this is another Roadrunner tampo here. It's barely visible, tiny little details. Just beautiful stuff here. Another Muscle Machines in the rear license plate. So here's the base, and this has lots of nice sculpted texture on the base. The writing is so tiny I can barely read it, but you can see the Auto World logo there. So there's some nice detail underneath for sure. And then I do believe the hood opens, so we'll want to check that out. Here we go. And that way we can look inside. So there you have the hood open, and the hood opens, it takes a minute to get the hood open, but once you get it open it does stay open, which is nice. And then take a look at the detail under the hood there. That is just wonderful detail. 3 or 4 different colors in there. You got a red, blue, kind of a silver, and black. Lots of beautiful detail. It goes way down deep in there as well. So it's not one of those things where you just see sort of the cover and then it's just a solid piece. It's actually a sculpted engine that goes way down in there. Really nice. Lots of attention to detail in there. And that's where you kind of get reminiscent of old Johnny Lightning, where they really paid attention to every little piece and part. So that's about as good as you can do in 1/64 scale in my opinion. And the hood shuts real nice, back in place, which is important. You know, if you're going to have that opening hood, it's important that it shuts and goes back to the contour of the body. And it certainly does on this one. So there you have your 400 Tampo on the hood. Just gorgeous. I could show you this all afternoon. But that is the 73 Roadrunner, Plymouth Roadrunner, from the latest release of Auto World. And that, like I said, has got to be one of my favorite pieces that Auto World has ever done. Just beautiful color choice, beautiful casting choice, and excellent execution. So let me know what you think in the comments. Are you going to be collecting the Auto World license release? What do you think about this piece, and what do you think about some of the other pieces? I've got more videos coming up soon, so please stay tuned. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.